Yo, it's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building, and I'll be breaking down my boy Shane Burgos versus Edson Barboza. This is a great fucking fight. I cannot wait for it. But in terms of rankings, where these guys ranked in the featherweight division, Shane is ranked number 9 in the world. Edson is ranked number 13 in his new home at featherweight. Phenomenal fight. You already know. Let's get to these stats. Shane comes in with a record of 13-2, fights out of New York, age 30, a height of 5'11", and reaches 75.5. Edson is 21-9, fights out of Florida, age 35, height 5'11", and reaches 70. So not a big difference in height. Both actually they're the exact same height of both 5'11". We'll see on weigh-ins and stare-downs if they're really the same height. In terms of reach, Shane only has an advantage by 0.5. You know, this company, man, they be playing games with that height, man. I think, didn't they say like Jorginho and Francis were the same height, and like Francis is so much taller than, or something crazy. I remember like they did that with Smith and Jones, right? And he's like way taller than him. Like Jones is way taller than Smith, but they say they're the same height. Like, I don't get that, but it is what it is. But yeah, a big matchup for both guys, man. Edson, you know, he's trying to make a new home at 145. You know, he's 35 years old. He has one, I think in his head, he has one last run to a belt. I think he likes that 145 strap, and I think he thinks he can get it. And you know, he's had 2 fights at featherweight. He won one and he lost the other. The other was controversial, so I will say that. And I think he thinks he can make a run, but you know, the company isn't going to get behind him like that, so they're going to make him fight these young lions that they want to promote. Shane Burgos is a young lion that wants to be a champion one day. He has shown, oh man, he hasn't shown greatness, I would say, but he's just shown a must-watch. He's must-watch TV, you know? You have to watch him, his style, the way he fights. He's just such an entertaining fighter, and I think they want to push him. And I don't have a problem with that, you know. And I think they want to see where he's at. They want to see if he can beat a vet. I mean, Edson Barboza is not I don't know. He's not a stepping stone. Yeah, it's not a stepping stone. This is a high-level fight for Shane. This is probably Shane's hardest fight to date, besides, I guess, maybe Cater in the division. Cater is a highly ranked, or Josh Emmett, but this is a hard fight for Shane, and this is going to be one of his. I mean, this is going to be a real challenge for him to see if he's ready, you know, to fight with those upper echelon guys. Just, you know, if you watch this, you're going to see if he's ready for those guys. And Edson, it's going to tell us, like, does he still have enough left, you know, in the tank to go make a run? So this is why I love this fight. But in terms of notable wins for a guy like Shane Burgos, if we go look at his record, man, he's beaten some guys, man. He's beaten a lot of decent guys, man. He went in there, fought Josh Emmett to a very close fight. I rewatched that fight, man. I thought that was a draw in my humble opinion, but it's just my opinion. He fought Makwan Americani, finished him in the 3rd round. I mean, phenomenal performance against Americani. Just, you know, Tiger Schulman's, I know it's a lot of those guys that can box, man. They can box really good. And he was just able to really just hurt him and break him with body shots. He did lose the 1st round to Americani, but, man, he was able to break him in the later rounds. And not in the later rounds, just really in the 3rd round. And was like, there was a point where, like, Shane was on top of Americani, and he's just landing these body shots, man. Shane's offensive boxing is so clean and so crisp. He does leave himself open. He does get dropped sometimes. That is something I'll talk about in this fight, but it is what it is. Against Cub Swanson, phenomenal fight, really great scrap. Those guys just stayed in the pocket, slanging and banging. Awesome fight. It was a split decision, but I thought he won. Then has that fight with Kurt Holaba, I think that's his name. Gets the armbar after getting knocked out, man. And then he has his loss to Calvin Kattar, which was a good fight by Shane. Shane did a lot of good things in there, and he also has a win over Charles Rosa. That used to mean something. Now I don't know if it means anything anymore, but you know, Shane, he's accomplished a lot, you know, in that division, right? And he's still got a lot more to go, you know, to go. He's a young kid. He's only 30. He got a lot of years left in this game, and can't wait for it. And he's gonna go to war with Edson, but Edson ain't no punk, y'all. Edson ain't no fucking fruity cake, all right? I don't know how to tell y'all this. This dude is a killer, man. Some of y'all must have. I have friends that think Shane is gonna go knock Edson out, and I'm like, obviously y'all know me. I'm gonna pick Shane, right? Y'all know that already, but I am not oblivious. Now Edson has lost to some guys, but he's lost to guys like Cerrone, Johnson, Michael Johnson, Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Kevin Lee, Justin Gaethje, Paul Felder, Dan Ige, right? He's lost to those guys. Now the Paul Felder, Dan Ige, we'll talk more about that. Don't worry, y'all. And he does actually have a win over Paul Felder, but he's lost to those. Let's just keep it at Kevin Lee. Let's just say that was Justin Gaethje. Let's say that was his last real loss, right? And he's been beat before. There is a way to beat him, but you look at the guys he's beaten, man. Evan Dunham, Bobby Green, Paul Felder, Anthony Pettis, Gilbert Melendez, Beneil Dariush. Sadly, Dan Hooker. He's beaten a lot of guys. He's been in this game for a minute, right? And you look at what he's been able to do since those losses and those wins. He has completely changed his game. Going into his last victory against Makwan Amirkhani, I mean, Edson looked like a completely different fighter in there. His boxing was crisp. His boxing was, amazing in that fight. He dropped him twice, I think, in the second round. I thought Edson looked amazing. It was the best I've ever seen Edson look, maybe the competition. But, man, this is going to be, I feel like, in my humble opinion, I feel like Shane Burgos is going to be fighting the most complete version of Edson Barboza. And that's really my point. I feel like a lot of these guys that beat Edson, like Khabib and Kevin Lee, didn't fight a complete version of Edson. I think Edson, but he needed those losses to become more complete at the same time. And I feel like Edson, his game he's just become more well-rounded. His boxing, it sets up his kicks, his movement, everything. He's just going to American. It's so funny. Like, him and Marlon both went to American Top Team, and like you could see Edson got way better, and Marlon has taken somewhat of a dive for some odd reason. I don't know why. But Edson's, working with their boxing coach over there at American Top, I forgot the guy's name, but it doesn't matter. Is done wonders for a guy like Edson Barboza, and he looks good. He's worked with guys like Gamrot, over a lot of good talent for him to work with, and he's growing out the hair. So Edson with the hair is a different beast. But basically, at the end, here's my point. Even though Edson has changed, right? His last fight against Dan Ige, I thought he won that fight. I will preface by saying that. And this kind of goes even to that Paul Felder rematch he had. Edson, he didn't do this against Makwan. I thought he looked really good in there. He didn't get tired. But it was a short notice Makwan, though. So Edson does this thing where he just looks tired and he looks like he's giving in. And it just looks like it doesn't even look like the guy is actually like a guy like Danny or a guy like Paul Felder is coming on in the third round, and it looks like if there was 2 more rounds that those guys would finish him, and that's what it looks like, and he's getting saved by time, and that's what's been hurting Edson against Dan Ige. I rewatched the fight. I forgot how well Dan did in that fight. You know what? I put that as one of my top 5 robberies of the year, and Edson got robbed. Edson won that fight. But it wasn't like Dan had no success. Dan had a lot of success going in the pocket. He did get dropped, but going in the pocket, putting it on Edson, taking Edson down in the third round, having success there. He was not scared of Edson's power. Yes, he got hurt by the body kick. Yes, he got hurt to the dome piece with the overhand and got dropped. But yeah, he had a lot of success. Shane, obviously, he learned from the Josh Emmett fight. You can't just walk guys down with your chin in the air, right? Obviously, and I don't want to say this, I know some people attack Shane's defense, but like, let's be honest, y'all. There are some bitches out here that can't even, man, like don't even have half the talent that Shane got. And there's some people out here that don't even have half the talent that Shane got. Shane is fighting high-level opponents, and that's what's happening when you fight high-level opponents. They're just little, I guess, like holes or intricacies, right, in somebody's game that they can just exploit. But not everyone can do that. Now, this is a high level opponent Shane is fighting. Shane, he just has these like little, it's not like he has bad defense. He doesn't have bad defense. He's always in the pocket. He doesn't take rest. He doesn't, kind of chill out and get out of the, he's always engaging. So if you're always engaging, you're always a pressure fight. You're going to make a little mistake. You're going to be open. Your hands might be dropped for a few months. It's not like his hands are always down. It's just, he's very susceptible to get hit in just certain moments of the round. It's just weird. Like, I don't know why. Like, 2 straight rounds against Josh Emmett, he was getting hit. I'm not saying he didn't get hit, but he was doing a lot of shoulder roll. He was rolling with those shots. He wasn't doing no shoulder roll, but he was rolling with a lot of those shots, and he wasn't getting hit clean. In the 3rd round was the only time Shane got hit really clean. Now, Shane got hit. I'm not gonna say he didn't get hit clean, but he got hit a lot in that 3rd round. Way more in those first 2. You can't deny that, right? Against a guy like Edson, he can't do that. And my point basically is that Shane should look at the Dan Ige fight and be like, all right, Ige didn't do that bad. He did actually really good in there. Just don't get, obviously keep the high guard, right? And block the body kicks and check the kicks too. He has to check them. And he should be good. And obviously he's a Tiger Schulman's guy, so they love those fucking calf kicks. They know how to check kicks. So if he does that, he should be fine. Just check those kicks. You obviously use forward pressure, box him up. Even though Edson's boxing has got a lot better, I think Shane should have a lot of success of just pressuring him and breaking him. Basically, my point is the reason why I think Edson lost those fights to Dan and Paul Felder, even though he shouldn't have, was because he was getting tired, right? And he looked like he was breaking. And I think if anybody can really break somebody in a 3rd round, I think it's Shane. Shane is just a different caliber of output, and just relentless dog in him. He's a dog, man. Shane is a thug. Shane is different, y'all. That boy is different, and I think he can get it done that way. But I will respect Edson. I will not be a fool. I will not be a fool and not mention this in my breakdown. And people, do not disrespect Edson, please. To the Shane Burgos, do not disrespect him. I've been humbled by this man. I can never disrespect Edson after what he did to my boy Dan Hooker. I'll tell y'all a little story, and this is probably the end of the video. I remember it was a day in high school, and me and the homies, it was the Kevin Lee Ally Quinta card. I'll never forget this card. It was the last card, by the way, on Fox. I'm positive about that too. And it was the rematch between Quinta and Lee. Hooker and Edson got announced, right, on my phone, and I was like, hey bro, my boy. And Dan Hooker, I think he was coming off, I think, the Gilbert Burns victory. That's one thing I saw, in the Jim Miller fight. And I was like, dude, this guy Dan Hooker's the GOAT, man. He got the knees, he be knocking niggas out. He's just a better kickboxer, right? And or he's a good like Muay Thai kickboxer, right? And I was like, yo, Edson's coming off his loss to Kevin Lee, right? And I'm like, bro, I think Dan Hooker's a better kickboxer than Edson. That's what I said. I think he's gonna knock him out. And me and my homies are like, are you sure, man? And like, dude, Edson got smashed on by Kevin Lee and Khabib. He's done, bruh. He's done. He is done. So a few weeks go on. We watched the fight card, right? So, they do out their entrances and stuff like that. And I'm like, bruh, I told my homie, hey, Dan's gonna smoke this dude. Look at Edson. Looks like a punk. Looks like he gonna get smoked. I kid y'all not. If you haven't watched the fight, you should watch it. I'm never gonna watch it. I've only watched it once live because it was so horrific and so painful. To watch one of your homies get treated like an everlast punching bag. But I think 15, right, or 13 minutes later, because the fight didn't go the full distance, I was quiet, y'all. I was quiet. Edson went out there and destroyed my boy Dan Hooker. He destroyed my boy. Dan's still my homie. No, he's not my homie, but Dan is still one of my favorites, right, to watch. Shane is one of my favorites. So Edson has fought one of my favorites before, and he's literally raped him in front of me. He fucked up Dan, bruh. I will never forget what he did to Dan Hooker. I will never forget that. And Shane, he's not like, Hooker's more of a kickboxer. Shane is more of, like, I would say, a boxer. You know, obviously these guys are MMA fighters, right? They're complete, well-rounded mixed martial artists. But in terms of where they lean, I would say Shane more leans on the boxing side, right? I know what it feels like to see someone just get smacked up. But even though Shane and Dan Hooker are a little different, and obviously this fight is going to be different from the Dan Hooker fight, I preface this: respect Barboza in this matchup. Just respect him. All right, y'all. I just, please don't make the same mistake. That's it. I know what it feels like to get humbled. So, by this man. So you never hear me disrespect Barboza on this channel. And it is what it is. All respect to him. But I am going with Shane. But I can't see Barboza winning this fight. I can see him basically exactly what I said about the Dan Hooker. I can just see Barboza kind of exploiting Shane's little, last in judgment and his lack of defense sometimes, but I can see him exploiting that, maybe getting a finish or maybe getting a few knockdowns and getting a decision victory, right? I can see that. But on the other hand, I can see Shane just weathering the storm, and I do think Shane leveled up. I really do. I feel like it's been a minute since he fought Josh Emmett. He took a long layoff, and I think Shane leveled up. I think Shane will be a new fighter. I think he will wrestle. I think he will engage in the clinch. He does have, really good jiu-jitsu, but we never see it. And I think he'll keep his hands up. I think he'll check those kicks, hopefully. And I think he'll come back a better fighter. I think he'll weather the storm that Barboza will bring. And I think he'll break Barboza. I got him winning by 3rd round TKO. I think Shane could break him. And yeah, I'm taking my boy Shane Burgos. All respect to Barboza. I will say that. All respect to you, homie. I will never disrespect you. But it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go follow me on my Twitter. Go follow me on my Instagram. Love y'all and goodbye. It's your boy eBay Fight Prediction. If you're new, subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Go click the notification button. And yeah, goodbye.